You could buy a faster car. You could buy a more comfortable car. You could even buy a more luxurious car for the same money. But none of that matters, because once Porsche gets into your blood, once Porsche gets under your skin, once Porsche gets its hooks into you, nothing else comes close. So what is it about Porsche that turns rational, level-headed human beings into completely, hopelessly obsessed fanatics? Let's find out, because this goes deeper than most people expect. It starts with the shape. The first time most people see a Porsche 911 in real life, not on a screen, not in a magazine, but right there, 3 feet in front of them, on a street or in a parking lot, something shifts. Something primal clicks into place. Because the Porsche 911 doesn't just look good, the Porsche 911 looks right. Like it was always supposed to exist. Like the universe designed the Porsche 911 and then let Ferdinand Porsche take the credit. The Porsche 911 hasn't drastically changed its silhouette since 1963. That same sweeping roofline, that same rear-engine bubble, those same round headlights staring back at you like they already know your name. The Porsche 911 has been in continuous production for over 60 years. Phones have changed beyond recognition, cities rebuilt, entire industries appeared and vanished, and through all of it, the Porsche 911 remained. Constant, iconic, completely, stubbornly, magnificently itself. And yet the Porsche 911 never looks dated. Every generation of the Porsche 911 is wider, faster, and more capable than before. But park a 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RS next to a 2024 Porsche 911 Turbo S, and the family resemblance is unmistakable, undeniable, almost emotional. Porsche didn't just design a car. Porsche designed a legend and then committed, decade after decade, to making that legend better, without ever abandoning what made people fall in love with the Porsche 911 in the first place. That kind of discipline, that kind of long game thinking, in the modern automotive world, that is almost unheard of. And people feel it, because consistency in a world of constant reinvention feels like integrity. If you're already feeling that pull, hit subscribe right now. We talk about cars like this every single week. But Porsche obsession isn't just about looks. Porsche obsession is about what happens the moment you actually drive one. Ask any Porsche owner. They'll tell you the first time they drove a Porsche, it changed them. Not impressed them, changed them. Because driving a Porsche doesn't feel like operating a machine. Driving a Porsche feels like a conversation. Every corner, every throttle input, every tiny steering adjustment, the Porsche responds immediately, honestly, without filter. The Porsche 911 has become legendary for something drivers call feedback. The ability of the Porsche to communicate exactly what the road is doing, exactly what the tires are doing, straight through the steering wheel into the driver's hands. Modern cars isolate, they cushion, they decide, but a Porsche does the complete opposite. A Porsche invites you in. A Porsche talks to you. A Porsche treats the driver not as a passenger to be transported, but as a partner to be engaged. And the more you listen to what a Porsche is telling you, the more addicted you become. This is why Porsche owners don't simply own their Porsche, they bond with their Porsche. They know the exact sound their Porsche engine makes at 4,000 revolutions per minute. They know exactly where the Porsche's power arrives. They feel the difference between driving their Porsche on fresh tires versus worn ones. The Porsche communicates so honestly that any deviation is immediately, instinctively felt. That kind of relationship with a machine, that is not transportation. That is passion in its purest form. Now, the engine. Because no conversation about Porsche obsession is complete without talking about that sound. The Porsche Flat 6, the air-cooled heart of every classic Porsche 911 from 1963 to 1997, produced a sound no other manufacturer has ever replicated. That mechanical howl, that organic, living, barely contained shriek as a Porsche Flat 6 climbs toward the red line, it doesn't sound like an engine. It sounds like something alive. Like something born, not built. When Porsche controversially switched to water cooling in 1997, the Porsche community erupted. Journalists wrote furious columns. Porsche loyalists swore they would never buy another Porsche again. Most of them bought another Porsche within 2 years, because even the water-cooled Porsche 911 sounds extraordinary. Because the modern Porsche 911 GT3, with its naturally aspirated flat six screaming to 9,000 RPM, produces a sound so visceral that grown adults stop dead on pit lanes, mouths open, completely unable to move, watching a Porsche 911 GT3 disappear into the distance. You don't just hear a Porsche, you feel a Porsche. Somewhere in your chest, somewhere in your spine, somewhere in the part of you that reacts before your brain catches up. Here's where Porsche obsession gets genuinely fascinating. Porsche is the only brand on the planet that has built a genuine culture of inclusivity across every performance level. You can buy a Porsche Cayenne as a practical family SUV, a Porsche Macan for urban driving, a Porsche Panamera for crossing continents in absurd comfort. And then, on a Saturday morning, strap yourself into a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, drive to a racetrack, and go faster than 90% of purpose-built race cars that have never seen a public road. No other brand pulls that off at the same level of quality and consistency. Because owning a Porsche isn't simply buying a vehicle, it's joining something larger. A community spanning continents, decades, and bank balances. From the engineer who has owned 9 Porsche 911s since 1971, to the 23-year-old saving for a used Porsche Boxster as their very first sports car, driven by exactly the same obsession, speaking exactly the same language. And then there is the racing heritage, the foundation underneath everything Porsche has ever built. Porsche is the most successful racing brand in motorsport history. Over 30,000 race victories, 19 overall wins at Le Mans, dominant campaigns in endurance racing, GT racing, Formula E, and the Dakar Rally. Porsche hasn't just participated in motorsport, Porsche has defined it for over 7 decades. But what separates Porsche from every other manufacturer with a racing program is this: the technology Porsche develops to win races ends up directly in the Porsche road cars sold to everyday customers. The ceramic brakes on the Porsche 911 GT3, born on the racetrack. The torque vectoring in the Porsche 911 Turbo S, refined in endurance competition. The active aerodynamics on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, developed at Le Mans. All of it forged in the most brutal proving ground on earth, then handed directly to the customer at a Porsche dealership. When you buy a Porsche, you are buying 60 years of race-proven engineering knowledge packed into a machine you can drive every single day. That is not marketing, that is a legacy. So why are people so completely, irrationally, magnificently obsessed with Porsche? Because Porsche makes you feel something. Every time you see a Porsche on the street, every time you hear a Porsche engine bark to life ahead of you in traffic, every time you grip a Porsche steering wheel and feel that flat six ignite beneath you, Porsche reaches past every rational thought in your head and reminds you exactly why you fell in love with cars in the first place. Porsche is proof that engineering can be emotional, that precision can be passionate, that a machine built from steel, aluminium, and rubber can, if designed with enough care and enough genuine love for the craft, become something that feels almost alive. Porsche is a religion, and once you truly believe, there is no going back. Subscribe and drop your Porsche story in the comments below.